Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Shiko Math Practice Lab, Learning Through Practicing. And we are starting a new unit now. And we are in the practice set number 1 at this unit. This is the unit how to, is the application of the derivatives. So how do we use the derivatives information and try to identify the functions graphs here? So the first practice is a very easy practice set. We're going to take a look at how do we define the increasing or decreasing function by just looking the graph of the functions here. Okay, so here is what we're going to, we have 5 graphs here. We're going to practice the differences between the group 1 graph and the group 2 graphs is the group 1 graph will tell you is just the function of f of x. And then the group 2 graph is will show you the function, the graph is the function of the first derivative f prime x. So I want to find the open interval, for the, what is the interval, the original function is increasing or decreasing, okay? As always, right now is a good place to pause and try to give a try of those 5 problems and by yourself to see you can get it. Then afterward, resume the video and come back and we can work together. All right. So if you like the video at the end, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you still have some concept is not quite clear, feel free to leave me comments and I will try to answer your questions here. Okay, so now, go ahead and pause the video and then we can start, after you finish here. Okay. Okay, welcome back. And I hope that you did have a chance to practice some and before, we work on the solutions here. As always, before we start a new practice set, I'm going to give you a brief review what we try to do. So in here, we're going to talk about how do we find the increasing or decreasing, right? So we're going to find in the function is increasing or is decreasing. Okay, so if the graph, so the given graph, if the graph is the graph of f of x itself, then that is really pretty straightforward, it's easy, to find the function is increasing or decreasing, right? So like if this is the graph here, right? So then you'll be able to see. So if this is just by the f of x itself, right? So it's easy to see, hey, this part here, right? Started like this part here is increasing because it's a continuous going up, right? And then you will also see this part is continuously going up here, so it's increasing, and this part is going down. So those are the pretty straightforward. If the function give you is f of x, that means if you just continue, you just look at the graph, then you can identify as increasing or decreasing. And how about if I want to find the increasing, decreasing, if I want to find the increasing, decreasing of the function f of x, but the given graph is f prime x, all right? So instead of just give me the graph of f of x, it give me the graph of f prime x. Then how do I do it? So in here, since we want to review, we said f prime x, right? So f prime x is the first derivative. First derivative is the slope of the tangent lines here. So if f of x is increasing function, then what happens here? My f prime x should be what? Should be greater than 0, right? So just like in here, we know this is the the increasing one. So anytime you take a tangent lines here, anytime you take a tangent line, like you take a tangent lines here, right? So the slope of the tangent line is always be positive. And I know the slope of the tangent line is f prime x is here. So that's what I say. As long as f prime x is greater than 0, then what I can conclude? I can conclude f of x is what? Is increasing. Right? So the same way is here, if the f prime x is here is less than 0, it's just like, what do we, for example, like this one, the green segments, we know this is the decreasing. So if you take the tangent line along this curve, what happened to the slope of these tangent lines here? The slope of the tangent lines is negative, right? So that's why we'll say in here, okay, so if it's negative, then we will see the f of x is what? Is decreasing. All right, so those are the the most important things here. So that's what is the first derivative will help us to determine the shape of the function. So we know if the first derivative is greater than 0, f is increasing. The first derivative is less than 0, f of x is decreasing. All right, so let's take a look at our problems here. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I kind of draw the picture here, and so that you could be able to see that, but you can always refer back to the original graphics to give you the better, the better ideas. Okay, so let's take a look here. So because this functions here is just the function f of x, it's not the first derivative. So then the problem is pretty straightforward, right? So increasing, we just see the segments where the continuous going up. So I know this one is a continue going up, right? So it's going up. And then this segments here is continue going up, right? So I know the increasing here is what? It's pretty straightforward, right? So it's from 1 to 3, and from where? 4 to what? 4 to 6 is here. All right. So now the same way, if I want to see decreasing, so I will see this one is continue going down, this one is going down here, right? So the decreasing here will be also is pretty straightforward, is 0, 1, and what? 3, 4. Okay, so now the same way, because these functions here is just f of x functions here, right? So I just look at the shape of itself. So I know increasing here, this is increasing, right? The function continue going up. Now where is the other part? Here, right? So it's a continuous increasing, going up and up, up and up. So I know for these functions here, the increasing here is from where to where? 0 to 1, and from where to where? 3 to 7, right? So the same way is here for decreasing. I know from these segments here is kind of going down here. So this is decreasing from the 1 to 3 here. All right, so it's pretty straightforward if they just give you the f of x. So let's take a look at the next ones here. If you take a look at the next ones here, what happens here? The function it give you is what? Is f prime x. So this function is f prime x. Now I'm going to decide is f of x increasing or decreasing. So remember during our reviews, right? So we reviews here. Let me try to write it in here again, just in case you did not take the note. So we say f prime x greater than 0, then f of x is what? Is increasing. F of prime x less than 0. So what is my f of x? F of x is decreasing here. So now, because this is the f prime x, so we see the where is f prime x greater than 0. So here, this part is greater than 0. This part is greater than 0, correct? So now I know, here be careful, we are looking for the original functions, right? So I know which part of this one is increasing. See here, f of x is increasing. So where? It's from the 0, 1 and 5 to 7 here, right? Then the same way for decreasing, we say it's f prime less than 0. All these values here, right? Is the f prime x is less than 0. So I know f of x decreasing at where? From the 1 to 5 and from where? 1 to 5 and 7 to 8, right? Okay, so be careful because here, this is f prime x, right? Okay, so now you need to use this rule. The f prime x determined is fx is increasing or decreasing. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. This is f prime x also. So if increasing is all the f prime x greater than 0. So I know this regions here, f prime x is all greater than 0. And this regions here, f prime x is all greater than 0. So what is my f of x increasing or decreasing? So I know this one here is increasing at where? Okay, 0 to 4 and where? 6 to 8, right? And where it is decreasing? The decreasing will be the f prime x less than 0. So it's here, right? So this area, this segments here will be less than 0, right? So what is the decreasing here? And this area is less than, right? So decreasing will be what? 4 to 6 and 8 to the infinities, right? Because it continues going down. Okay, so now let's take a look at the last ones here. So here is the same thing. We are looking for the f of x performance, right? So the same way, increasing is the function greater than, right? So it's here. It's greater than 0. All this is greater than 0, right? And this is greater than 0. So that means above the x-axis, right? So this is increasing. So where is it increasing? Let's see here is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 to the infinity. All right, then decreasing, where is it decreasing? It's below the zeros here, right? So it's here. Okay, so this is decreasing. So what is the decreasing here? This is 2, 4, and 6, 8. Okay, that's it. So, you know, the first practice set is very easy, right? So just need to remember here, right? So if your, you know, they give you the graph is f prime x, so remember these rules, right? So when f prime x is positive, your function is increasing, and the f prime x is negative, then your function is decreasing. This is the first step. When we try to graph, we need to decide is increasing, decreasing, so we get a, you know, a good idea how to sketch the graphs here. All right, so that's it. It's a very easy practice set. And the next practice set, number 2, we are going to do the similar things. We still try to find the interval for the increasing and the decreasing. But instead of the graphs, we are going to start with a function over equations. How do we do that? Okay, so don't forget practicing, and practicing. That's will make you getting better in the maths here. And I'm looking forward to work with you on our video set number 2. How do we physically derive the Bayer equation instead of given the functions here? Okay, so nice talk to you. And don't forget to practice the things, right? So talk to you in our next set here. Bye, and you have a good day.